Sam Bankman Fried walked out of a Manhattan federal court on Thursday into a mob of reporters. The former CEO of bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX, who was extradited to the U.S. this week, is out of jail while he awaits trial on federal fraud charges. But his release comes with strict conditions, including a $250 million bond package, as well as confinement to his parents' Palo Alto home, location monitoring, and the surrender of his passport. Thursday's bail hearing comes after Bankman Fried was taken into FBI custody in the Bahamas and flown to the U.S. Wednesday night, where the pressure on him continues to mount. Bankman Fried is accused of stealing billions of dollars in client money, much of it to stem losses at his personal hedge fund, Alameda Research. And on Wednesday, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams announced two of Bankman Fried's closest former associates were now cooperating with prosecutors against him.
The Southern District of New York has filed charges against Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, and Gary Wang, a co-founder of FTX, in connection with their roles in the frauds that contributed to FTX's collapse. Both Ms. Ellison and Mr. Wang have pled guilty to those charges, and they are both cooperating with the Southern District of New York. Let me reiterate a call that I made last week. If you participated in misconduct at FTX or Alameda, now is the time to get ahead of it. We are moving quickly, and our patience is not eternal.
Bankman Fried has acknowledged risk management failures at FTX, but has said he does not believe he has criminal liability. The son of two Stanford professors and a graduate of the elite Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Bankman Fried rode a boom in the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to become a billionaire several times over. But last month, reports that FTX had commingled client funds with the founder's hedge fund led to a wave of withdrawals, prompting the exchange, valued at $32 billion last January, to declare bankruptcy. The U.S. attorney overseeing the case called it one of the largest financial frauds in American history.
Mahsa Amini's death has ushered Iran into a new era of deepening crisis between the clerical leadership and society at large. It's unleashed years of pent-up anger among Iranians over a range of issues: tightening social and political controls, economic misery, and discrimination against ethnic minorities. Now, Iran's religious leaders are facing their worst legitimacy crisis since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. They've responded by framing the unrest as breakaway uprisings by ethnic minorities, while arresting and executing protesters. The turmoil, led by women and young people, poses a grave threat to the survival of the Islamic Republic. The movement is also leaderless, a challenge to forcing a new political order. It's exposed the establishment's vulnerability to popular anger, raising concerns among top leaders that a misstep could mean more trouble ahead, even if current protests die down. Violent crackdowns have only stoked more protests and are contributing to reluctance from Western leaders to revive a 2015 nuclear pact worth billions. Analysts say the Islamic Republic will be consumed by a revolutionary process in 2023. That means more protests, with neither side backing down. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is unlikely to compromise on ideological pillars like compulsory hijabs. The question of who will eventually succeed him may also widen rifts in the establishment. While years of sanctions have not stopped Iran's nuclear expansion, its domestic crisis will likely give Western powers room to increase pressure on Tehran.
As heavy snow and vicious cold sweeps through North America, turning roads icy and shrouding airport runways in white, Airlines canceled more than 2,700 U.S. flights Thursday and Friday, disrupting holiday travel for thousands. The powerful storm hitting the United States, bringing holiday plans to a halt. President Joe Biden urged Americans to take precautions.
It's dangerous and threatening. This is really a very serious weather alert here. And it goes from Oklahoma all the way to Wyoming and Wyoming to Maine. and it's a real consequence. So I encourage everyone, please heed the local warnings.
The extreme weather coincided with what could be one of the busiest travel seasons. The FAA said Thursday the winter storm was bringing blizzard conditions to the Midwest, with major travel disruptions expected in Chicago, Detroit, and Minneapolis-St. Paul. The roads in Bloomington, Minnesota already presented drivers with a challenge on Wednesday. More than 1,800 U.S. flights had been canceled Thursday, and another 900 flights for Friday were scrapped, according to flight tracking website FlightAware. U.S. airlines, including Delta, United, and American Airlines, said earlier this week they were waiving change fees and fare differences for passengers in a range of affected areas.
Wall Street's main indexes closed sharply lower on Thursday, with the technology-heavy Nasdaq leading the declines as shares of Tesla plunged and investors dumped Micron on news of job cuts. The Dow shed just over 1%, the S&P lost nearly 1.5%, and the Nasdaq dropped almost 2.2%. Tesla sank nearly 9% after Elon Musk's EV maker doubled its discount offering on models in the U.S. this month, amid concerns over softening demand. Tesla is now on track for its worst month ever. And chipmaker Micron Technology also weighed heavily on the Nasdaq after announcing it will lay off 10% of its workforce next year. It's the latest major tech company, along with Facebook and Amazon, to announce massive job cuts. Mark Newman is Chief Investment Officer and founder of Constrained Capital.
So I think the tech companies really overhired. And I think that part of that push for them to overhire was the continuously easy rates. And that allowed a bit of excess hiring, maybe hiring, let's call them chief sustainability officers, chief people officers, and really excess hiring when rates are easy is not a very tricky maneuver, meaning if rates are low, your bogey, break even, let's call it, on a new hire is not as high as it is when the 2-year yield goes from 75 basis points to over 4%. All of a sudden, your errors, your mistakes, your costly hires, let's call them, become that much more compounded.
Tech layoffs aside, the labor market still looks pretty tight, with filings for state unemployment benefits rising last week but still below economist estimates. That, along with a stronger than expected final estimate of the third quarter GDP, led investors to worry that a resilient economy would lead the Federal Reserve to keep hiking interest rates for longer than expected.
In a deal that accelerates the move of sports to streaming platforms from traditional TV and underscores football's enduring allure, YouTube said it signed a multi-year, multi-billion-dollar deal to exclusively stream the National Football League Sunday ticket package of games in the U.S. The Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter, reported that YouTube, which is owned by Google, will pay an average of about $2 billion a year to secure rights to the NFL Sunday Ticket franchise, a subscription-based service that allows viewers to watch all Sunday NFL games from anywhere. YouTube said that starting next season, NFL Sunday Ticket will be available as a paid add-on package on YouTube TV and standalone a la carte on YouTube primetime channels. Sports has remained one of the biggest and most reliable attractions for live viewing, even as U.S. audiences are cutting their pay TV subscriptions and migrating to streaming services. YouTube will be taking over from DirecTV, which had the rights to Sunday Ticket until the end of the 2022 season. In a statement, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said he was excited to bring NFL Sunday Ticket to YouTube TV and YouTube primetime channels and usher in a new era of how fans across the United States watch and follow the NFL, adding that the partnership was an example of, quote, looking towards the future and building the next generation of NFL fans. The NFL is the most prized sports media asset in the U.S. In March of 2021, the NFL said it reached long-term media deals with Amazon.com and major broadcast and cable companies that run through 2033. The deals could be worth over $100 billion, according to CNBC. Fox will air the Super Bowl in February.